from Fox 26. The News Edge at 10 starts now.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Right.
Gentlemen, I think we've ended this.
He's going to pack the court.
We're not
going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They sure
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden going at it for 90 minutes, no breaks, in their first face-to-face debate for America's presidential race. It started out cordial, but maybe only for the first several moments. Pretty quickly, moderator Chris Wallace had to jump in as the two went right at each other.
Donald, would you
and
just
you don't
be quiet
know
for a
her
minute?
view on Roe v. Wade.
I
don't know her view.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen.
The big takeaway is that it was a lot of talking over each other. Our Greg Grugan's going to have some highlights in a moment, but both campaigns now gear up for the vice presidential debate that is October 7th. Houston's police chief responded to the president's comment on ending racial sensitivity training in the government because he said it promoted hate. The chief says that in his 3+ decades of policing and going through trainings, he never saw training that taught hate and feels that joint training with young activists was in fact notably impactful. President Trump caused a big shock when the topic of white supremacy in the U.S. was brought up. Fox's Madeline Rivera live in Cleveland with what was said and the reactions to it. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Caitlin. Where moderator Chris Wallace had asked President Trump if he would be willing to condemn white supremacy on the debate stage. And I want you to take a listen at what Chris Wallace, or rather President Trump, said when he was asked that question.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing to do
specifically
that, but
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what his
It's an idea.
FBI director said.
And this obviously comes as social upheaval takes over a lot of cities, including Portland, Oregon, and Kenosha, Wisconsin, racial injustice protests. The Proud Boys, now a far-right extremist group, is now pledging allegiance to President Trump after those comments. So you can imagine that's certainly gaining a lot of traction on social media and conversations among people as well. Caitlin?
Maddie, thank you. Minneapolis police are investigating allegations of ballot harvesting, but they're not confirming whether Congressional Representative Ilhan Omar is involved. On Sunday, Project Veritas shared video appearing to show her brother with ballots filling his car's dashboard. Ballot harvesting is legal in 26 states, but a ruling in Minnesota allowed unlimited collections for about a month this summer. A top U.S. intel official released a letter to Congress with declassified statements suggesting the Clinton campaign planned to tie the Trump campaign to Russia in 2016 to distract voters from her email server situation. The report had been previously rejected by both parties in the Senate Intel Committee for having no factual basis, and the top senator on the committee is calling it disturbing that this would be made public so close to the election. BBVA Compass Stadium is joining NRG Stadium and Toyota Center as polling centers in Harris County for Election Day. A reminder that Harris County voters can now cast their ballot at any election site, not just your own precinct. NRG and Toyota Center are also among 10 drive-through voting locations for early voting periods. Early voting starts October 13th. The governor extended it for an extra week. U.S. security officials say violent American extremists are a threat to our election. They're saying it's a witch's brew of rising tensions, civil unrest, and foreign disinformation fueling extremism. Remember, voter registration, the deadline is October 5th. Registrations spiked nationally after the recent passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. To check and see if you're all set or if you need to register, visit fox26houston.com for more info. In Lake Jackson, the governor visited today. He says the 6-year-old boy who died from a brain-eating amoeba caught it at a splash pad. That pad has been shut down, but the boil water notice there is expected to last for a few more weeks. No need to worry, though. State health officials say that it is impossible for someone to contract the amoeba through drinking water.
We know the only way that you can get it is to have that contaminated water go up your sinuses and basically then lodge there at the top of the sinuses and work its way from there through a membrane, if you will, a bony membrane that goes into the brain, and that's where the infection starts.
The infection is extremely rare, and after the boil notice is lifted, the city will be purging their water system, which will take about 60 days. The Texas Education Agency has recommended today that a state agent step in to oversee HISD's special education program. They released results of an 11-month investigation claiming that the district has failed to identify students eligible for services or to hold staff accountable for providing them, which would be a violation of state and federal law. Crosby High School is closed the rest of the week. They're getting a deep cleaning after 10 positive COVID cases. Classes will be remote until next Monday. Harris County is delaying foreclosures by using executive order to shut down the venue where foreclosure auctions occur. By law, the auctions happen on the first Tuesday of each month, but Judge Hidalgo has now used a series of orders to have the venue closed on that day each month since April. Harris County is also using nearly $5 million to create a child care assistance program to offer services like after-school programs, distance learning, and child care options for essential workers. Houston's new pandemic mental health initiative is going to use CARES Act funds to offer a 24-hour hotline. They're going to have professional mental health support and resources for anyone struggling under pandemic pressures with a focus on frontline workers. If you live in Missouri City, you can now apply for rent, mortgage, or utility relief up to $2,500 total. The link to application details also on fox26houston.com. A meatpacking company is denying workers comp for some families of employees who died from COVID-19. The company claims the infections occurred outside of work and thus are not work-related. Disney is laying off 28,000 workers at their theme parks, many of them full-timers. Disney's California parks are still closed, but Florida parks are open, though attendance remains low. South Korean research found that 9 in 10 COVID patients still had some side effects after recovery, like a loss of smell or fatigue, even psychological effects. We've now reached 1 million COVID-19 related deaths worldwide. Emergency responders in Washington state are the first to now use SpaceX's internet network to get service amid the wildfires. And according to them, this is a game changer. SpaceX has been launching the internet satellites for a few years now, with 700 now in low orbit, and their goal is to have 12,000 so that you could always get internet reception anywhere on the planet. In California, it is now illegal for first responders to take pictures of bodies at a scene, as 8 deputies are now subject of a lawsuit for taking and sharing photos at the crash site of NBA legend Kobe Bryant. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was buried today alongside her husband at Arlington National Cemetery. 2 Houston outdoor movie venues are going to be screening the documentary on her life called RBG on Sunday, October 11th. It'll be at the drive-in at Sawyer Yards and the Rooftop Cinema Club in Uptown. Both screenings at 10 p.m. and tickets are already on sale. The Houston Astros took a win tonight, which won Mattress Mac $375,000 because, yes, indeed, he is betting on the team once again this year. Today, placing another big bet on them winning the World Series. He now stands to win $6.3 million, according to reports, which apparently would be enough to cover his promotion of free furniture if they win the series or the season. Astros are up 1-0 in the best of 3 in the AL wildcard series against the Twins. 1 win away from the division series. Game 2 is tomorrow at noon. We are standing by to learn if this weekend's Texans home game will be postponed. It was supposed to be their first game with fans there, but Tennessee Titans have 8 COVID cases, and the Titans played the Vikings last week, and the Vikings are who we play on Sunday. Minnesota has suspended all team activities, so people are now left wondering if Sunday will be postponed or flat out canceled. And that is the rundown. If you have thoughts, you know you can tweet me, you can send me those thoughts. But our Greg Grugan joining us now, our political reporter, our guy who has been following Houston's political scene for years. He watched the debate like a hawk. Greg, what were your key moments that you think really hit home for Houstonians?
Caitlin, I've been covering politics for something like 35 years, and this was the ugliest presidential debate I've witnessed. Chaotic, rude behavior by a couple of guys in their 70s. The president boasted about his pre-pandemic economy and promised to revive it. Biden attacked Mr. Trump's response to the coronavirus, accusing him of needlessly sacrificing lives with his denial of the threat. The president predicted a breakdown in law and order if Biden wins. The former vice president, in turn, accused Trump of being a climate change denier. All of this went down in between a barrage of personal insults that left many viewers shaking their heads.
Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree.
want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be
you know,
surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Go
the
on,
wrong
Joe,
night at
go.
the wrong time.
Listen.
Someone wondered whether Biden could withstand the president's unconventional and combative debate style. And frankly, on that level, the former vice president weathered the attacks pretty well. But in a word, it was ugly. Caitlin?
Thank you. Coming up, Palm payments and how smart assistants could soon start getting in tune with your feelings. A look into the future. It's happening now, my friends. Plus, we still have Dr. Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, we had some nice temperatures this morning, but can they last very long? I'll have the answer coming up in the Fox 4 forecast.
My name is Borat. I like you. I like sex. It's nice.
Well, we have learned that just ahead of Election Day, a Borat sequel will be hitting Amazon Prime Video. The original came out in 2006, featuring actors Sacha Baron Cohen going undercover as a character to interview politicians and Americans, often getting them to do or say outrageous things. Cohen has been caught bringing his undercover antics to a right-wing gathering this summer. His similar Showtime series, This Is America, culminated in a man pushing a button that he thought would set off a bomb at a protest. So many are standing by to see what he has in store this time. Well, speaking of things happening in the near future, the future is now, my friends, a future with smart mailboxes. Amazon has a Ring brand sensor that goes in your mailbox, and you get an alert every time your mailbox is opened or closed. This will be available to purchase soon. It has a little camera as well that records what happens when the box is open, hoping that it will help curb mail theft. Welcome to a future where your palm will be your wallet. With Amazon high-tech imaging, they're creating a palm signature by scanning your hand and then letting you link that to your charge card. Amazon is testing this at 2 of their stores. They claim that you can erase your data at any time. In the near future, your smart home might be able to tell if you're getting a little lonely. Emotional sniffing technology, they call it. It looks for language patterns in your conversation tied to feelings. So it listens to you as you ask it for things. They're focused on people 65 and older. So far, they say it's 90% accurate with people who already were pretty open about being lonely and 76% accurate with others. And welcome to a future of gas-detecting smartphones. Apple Insider has a report on a patent that was filed by iPhone maker Apple. It is a particle sensor for portable electronics, the latest Apple effort to detect things in the air, and reportedly they would like to be able to do sort of a pollen report as well. And welcome to a future where political saturation is the new norm. Because even if you try to avoid it by turning off TV to dodge the debates and the political ads, odds are you're still going to see them online.
There will be a lot of tweeting.
Pew Research found that by mid-August this year, majority of Americans were already worn out by political discussions and social media posts, far more so than at this point in the 2016 election. Those who study media say it's because there's just more of it, alongside a lot more misinformation.
There's just so much information that it's hard to know who to devote your attention to. So even if you knew who you trusted and what voices you wanted to listen to, sometimes it's even hard to sift through all the other voices to find the information that you actually want.
But social media appears to have proven beneficial from a voter registration aspect.
There's big banners on the top of all the platforms. Have you voted? Or are you registered? Don't forget to vote. Here's a button you can click to figure out how to do that.
Independent of what happens, I think both sides are going to be trying to spin it in their favor.
Bradley Adam is an expert in messaging and says election messaging is only ramping up.
Because we have kind of a finite deadline built into this whole process, the election, they can kind of keep barraging us, both sides can keep barraging us with these messages, and hopefully with the intent that we will integrate them into our own thinking and start to believe what they're telling us.
Well, Dr. Jim, I know I'm not the only one who's glad that it's finally nice to be able to be outside for a while, not be so hot, maybe take a break from being connected to everything.
I saw a lot of people taking their dogs for a walk, or just taking their friend for a walk, or just going for a walk by themselves because it really was beautiful out there. And we have, I think, several days that we're going to see this kind of weather. Now, it's going to be a little bit on the cool side again tomorrow morning, but I have to admit, it feels wonderful when those temperatures dip into the 50s for a little bit. So here's a look today. Almanac at 82 degrees for the high at Bush today. 57 was the low temperature. The record low, 47 degrees, set back in 1908. Not really close to that. And 47, I have to admit, that might be a little bit on the cool side, but not too bad. As we look at across the area, the observed temperatures today, most of us made it to the low 80s. It was seriously just a couple of weeks ago when we were still pushing almost 100 degrees, and with the heat index value, certainly. Today's Bay City high temperature, 79. 80 degrees for Galveston and High Island, 83 at Hobby, 82 in Pearland. Beautiful. Now our current conditions, the skies are clear, still in the low 60s right now. The dew point is low and the 40s, which is really good for us, and there's not a lot of wind. So this is about as comfortable as it gets for us when it comes to the humidity. Now, a couple of drawbacks. We do have an air quality warning for Harris County, Brazoria County, and Galveston for tomorrow. And this happens when we have this beautiful high pressure, which is why the skies are so clear, because the air is actually sinking on top of us, and that also doesn't allow the pollution to get out. So that's why the air quality can be a little bit bad. But it also means that the sunshine is going to be beautiful. Now, looking at this picture, the front is pushed out to the Gulf, and this was a strong front. You can see a very definite line still with the cloud cover, and that is really a good thing, because the National Hurricane Center is tracking an area in the western part of the Caribbean that possibly could develop over the next 5 days or so. About a 60% chance, but as I look at things, it looks to me like it'll go mostly in towards Mexico, thanks again to that frontal boundary. Now, back to the good stuff. 57 or low temperature tomorrow morning, 85 the high. After that, lows will be in the 60s, highs in the 80s, topping out at about 87 on Thursday. Then another little impulse will come in by the end of the week, which will drop those temperatures back down into the low 80s, which sounds wonderful. Hey, don't forget to download our Fox 26 weather app, because we can still track that tropical weather. I mean, hurricane season isn't quite over yet. Plus, we can also track that beautiful weather that continues to come in from the north.
Hi, it's Coco Dominguez, and tonight we are talking about the flavor that the Hispanic culture brings to the city as Latin Restaurant Weeks continues. Plus, I'm going to talk to taco journalists. Yes, all about the taco culture. It's all coming up in just minutes on the Bayou City Buzz. Hi, it's Coco Dominguez, and Hispanic Heritage Month is in full swing, giving us 2 weeks of Latin Restaurant Weeks to enjoy. Plus, we're talking about the taco culture. I will warn you, your mouth might water.
Salud, comida y sabor.
Health, food, and flavor is the theme this year for Houston Latin Restaurant Weeks.
We wanted to bring some excitement back to our city and really help people discover the flavors of Latin America. And I don't think we would live in this city and be able to boast that we're the culinary capital of the South if it wasn't for the Hispanics.
30 participating restaurants this year, and although no affiliation with Houston Restaurant Weeks, they operate similar.
Latin Restaurant Weeks is pretty similar in the sense that you'll be treated to a special. I guess the difference is not all of them offer a 3-course menu, but they do offer a valuable menu just because some of the restaurants are kind of at a lower price point. So you could see menus starting as low as $10 and going up to $45.
A portion of the proceeds will benefit Second Servings in Houston, an organization that alleviates hunger and reduces waste in Houston by rescuing edible surplus food and delivering it directly to local charities. Taco journalist Marco from Houston knows the scene all too well.
Houston is such an international city, and I'm really happy because I've worked with the Latin Restaurant Weeks people, and they're amazing. They love showcasing the true food of the nation, not just trying to get somebody who's appropriating the culture. They're actually going to the real mom and pop shops and making sure that everything is legit.
Why does he believe tacos have gained so much popularity?
I think the cool thing is that tacos are very accessible. We talk in the book that we did, the Tacos of Texas, that tacos are more popular than burgers in America now. You know, everybody likes tacos, and it's something simple you can do at home. You can get at a taco truck really fast. A lot of young chefs and nice restaurants that are really looking into the amazingness that the taco has always brought us.
Your book was 4 years ago. I flipped on TV the other day. Netflix has an entire special just about tacos.
Recipes are brought down through the generations. So if you're eating a good taco, it reminds you of what your grandma did, what your mom did, what your tia did, you know. So the cool thing is, it's not something that is just in our culture. It can be shared with other cultures.
So last question, do I dare ask? You know what I'm gonna ask?
I have a list.
Okay. It's not too late to order some tacos tonight. I will put up that list at Houston Restaurant Week so you can check out those restaurants, plus the list that Marco just mentioned. It's Coco Dominguez reporting from home, Fox 26 News.
Well, Isaiah joins me now, and the night is young for those of us night owls still up. So what do you have in the show tonight?
Well, Caitlin, coming up on The Factor Uncensored, we talk about a high school coach here in Texas who said some very vulgar, offensive racial slurs to his football team in high school. And we talk to one of the players and those who are demanding an investigation into the case. Also, we take a look at the Breonna Taylor case and all the latest developments there. And who can forget the presidential debate tonight? My God in heaven. We're going to explore that with our panel.